So Collie's getting Prosecco.
Excellent.
I like the clink.
Hi, welcome to Colleagues Getting Coffee. My name is Annelies James. We are in my palatial and very festive Christmassy flat. And I'm joined by the glamorous, the formidable, the intellectually stimulating Jessica Shailes.
Thank you for having me, Annelies. I don't know how...
Sting in your mind, like, what did she say about me? Oh, God.
I was impressed that you were able to say formidable.
Formidable. I quite like that word.
I like and intellectually. I mean, I love that.
You are intellectually stimulating. One of the things I know about Jess is that she will just give you a quote from a book from like 20 years ago.
I did that like 20 minutes ago, didn't I? I was really annoyed with myself that I couldn't remember the name of the person from the study.
Yeah.
But I do expect that.
You're like a walking encyclopedia.
Thank you.
What one fact right now from a book that you can think of off the top of your head would you say? Go.
Well, today I was talking to my dentist about how redheads feel pain differently because the ginger gene is a mutation on the MC1R receptor gene, and that impacts how you experience pain, anaesthetic, and all the rest of it. So that came to mind because I shared it with a dentist today, and she was like, I'm going to pay so much more attention. It impacts how we feel temperature fluctuations, so how much we feel cold or how hot we get, but also apparently oral pain. So a lot of people who have red hair don't really like going to the dentist.
This is the example. This. Case in point.
And you didn't tell me you were going to do that either, did you?
Case in point. Not even just one little... No, a whole story. I'm obsessed. Okay, darling, what do you do?
I help people to engage and attract their ideal audience. Mm-hmm. So traditionally people just say, marketing stuff, but I really focus in on helping them to understand their audience, consumer psychology, and really what their customer values about what they do.
So, devil's advocate over here. Well, I've just got AI for that now.
Well, everybody else also has AI.
True. Boom. So, mic drop. I love that. Yes.
The time it takes to really understand who your audience are and maybe to really dig deep, that still requires human insights. Mm-hmm. We've spent loads of time working on like how we can use AI differently. And the issue is going to be rubbish in, rubbish out. That's the case with anything. That's the case when you're briefing a human being. But if you don't give an input that is different, maybe more insightful, then you're going to get the same out that any of your competitors gets, and everybody just ends up sounding the same.
100%. Well, also, I think it takes human to know human and to communicate human.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah, you can. And it's not just M-dashes. I think a lot of the time it's this cheerleader, kind of over-enthusiastic.
Yeah.
They need a UK version that's a little bit more chilled out and maybe a bit self-deprecating. Then,
well, you can change your settings, don't you, in the back end and be like, don't be so nice to me. I've actually done that to me because I even find it too much. I'm like, okay, I know I'm great, but I'm not that great.
Like, calm down.
Like, calm down. All right, fan. Chill out.
Game changing. I think this game is certain words, but
that's so funny. I love it. Yeah. So, okay, right. So let's get into it. So how long have you been in business?
Various different businesses, probably 15 years, but I've been running the Ideal Marketing Company for 7.5, maybe 8 years now, which, those years have just absolutely flown by. And a lot has happened in that time because remote working has become so much of a thing. AI, obviously, in the last couple of years, although we've been working with it for probably 3 years now. And I've made big changes to try to respond. The company's actually been around since 2003, so it's been around for a long time, and it has evolved each time. Like, digital marketing wasn't even really that much of a thing when it was set up. It was more print and ads and PR, and then every time something about the world of marketing and technology has changed, the company's changed.
See, I do think, though, we need some traditional marketing back in the game.
I agree.
I love it. Like an actual physical thing that you've taken the time to design, to print, to deliver is so much better than just whack it out, email, e-shot. Like, social media blare into the ether. I think there's something about that traditional marketing piece. What do you think, marketeer?
I completely agree. I think as human beings, which we're trying to get back to, we love something that feels good, something that's tactile, that particularly can communicate quality. So if you're doing anything that's high end, if you really want to differentiate yourself, getting something into somebody's hands that's high quality, high touch. The thing is, while digital marketing and technology has been changing with digital, the same has happened with print. And so many things are possible that are quicker and easier and just feel good. And there are loads of professionals out there who are great at it. I also think there's something in smell, which is it's a funny one to think about. There is this neuroscientist called Tara Swart, and she talks about she talks about all sorts of things, but at the moment she's talking about how powerful the olfactory sense is, because there's just this direct link into your brain. If you ever smelt something, gone, oh, that really reminds me of a memory from when I was younger, or there's like nostalgia, and there's smell really evokes a lot of memories and feelings. So there's things that you could do with that, maybe with print as well. There's, I think, creativity ultimately when you take all these things together and get creative, it's good.
I'm going to ask you, because this time of year, beginning of a year, people are thinking about marketing moving forward. I think I personally like to reset and be like, what's this new year? Like, scratch that, next. What would be your biggest advice from a marketing perspective for a company to be like, this is something you should think about doing in 2026?
It's a great time of reflection, isn't it? I usually go and think about what works and what didn't work. I know you do that generally with business, but from a marketing perspective, spending time and thinking, well, what message actually really resonated? Whether that is which themes in my social media do people to respond to, or what pages received the most visits on my website, or whatever else. So what worked really well, what didn't, and just try not to keep doing the same thing over and over again in 2026. Like, what do you need to drop? I've been really surprised with the messages. Nudge theory for me does incredibly well, and there's just this interest, I think, in how it works. So then I think,
what is nudge theory?
So nudge theory is, I haven't got the definition to mind, so I'm quite disappointed with myself. But
I love that you were like, I'm going to call in.
I'm going to call it in.
You're like Sherlock Holmes. Have you seen the TV show?
The Memory Palace.
The Mind Palace.
Yeah,
that's you.
If only.
I'm going to start calling you Sherlock, that's it.
Sherlock Shailes.
Sherlock. Flat cap for Christmas, done.
I think I might suit the colour. Get brown.
100%.
So, nudge theory is this it's a whole range of different ideas around how you can subtly influence people to take a certain behaviour. So it might be just by placing something on a shelf in a certain position, they're more likely to pick it up. If you wanted them to pick the healthier items, then you'd position them a certain place on the shelf. They might be more likely to get them, or the more expensive ones you could do. So as a marketer, that's how that might work, or as a business owner, that might work. When it's used in social policy, things like trying to increase blood donations, paying your tax on time, that sort of thing, it's generally considered to be for the common good for everybody. And they're tiny, tiny little pushes. Great one in hotels where they were trying to encourage people to use their towels for a second day rather than wash them. They tried loads of different things. And what worked was to say most of the people who use this room use their towels for a second day.
Oh, interesting.
And that is social proof, I think that one is. So, because we're just
like herd mentality. Well, I'm not different from that. I will also do that, because if they're a good person, I'll be a good person too.
Yeah, exactly. So and in fact, Octopus Energy has used it to encourage people to be better with that, more energy efficient, by saying, in your neighbourhood, you are doing really well, or actually you're not performing quite as well as in energy efficiency and energy use as your neighbours.
Oh my God.
And we are such emotional animals. So
this is inciting neighbourhood war. I love it. Let's do it.
But and that's how you kind of create real change, is by just subtly changing like, in using these parts of our brain that are already there to influence how we behave.
So how do I nudge theory my boyfriend into proposing to me? What do I do? Like little mini, like jelly rings around the flat? Like
what? I mean, and this is going to be a hard one to do, but people are more likely to get divorced as well as get married when their friends are also doing the same thing.
Right.
So surround yourself with other friends who are...
Can you just get married? Quick. Do it. Let's do
I knew
it.
that's what I was going to go back. So that is the thing. So when people do generally notice that they will lose weight, they will put on weight, they will get married, they will get divorced.
I love that you know so much about this stuff. It's wild how much you know about people's brains.
I wanted to be a psychologist.
I love it. But I just don't know how you keep it all in your mind.
Do you know what? It's because I love it. It's because I'm excited about it, and my boyfriend will agree to the fact that if I don't care about something, I will not remember it. Because there have been times where he goes, "I've told you that," and it's like, it's because I don't care. And that's generally about rugby. It's not about anything that really matters.
Yeah. Fair.
So yeah. But if you love something, if you're interested in something, then you remember, don't you?
Yeah, I love that.
So
God.
But with nudge theory, and the problem with nudge theory is, it's great when it comes to like something that we can agree is positive for everybody, right? But when it comes to marketing and business, how do we decide what is in everybody's best interests? It's normally in the business's best interest. And as you and I know, we are capable of, at the same time, wanting to save money and also want to buy the handbag. So if nudge theory is only ever getting you to do something that you want to do, and I want both of those things, like, who decides? It's something that's kind of, it's fascinating but also concerning.
Wow.
Okay.
So that's what we think about for 2026, people. Traditional marketing and nudge theories. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So in your years of business, what is one of your biggest takeaways of things that you've learned about how business operates, how people operate, how building teams, anything that comes to mind with your takeaway for business?
When I first took over the Ideal Marketing Company, my university professor, lecturer came to talk to me, and he'd worked in agencies loads of times. And he said to me, make sure you make space to think, to regularly reflect on what's going on around you in the industry and technology, what's working for the business. And at the time I thought, yeah, I don't have time for that. But every year, whenever I have made the time to really think and reflect, not just on everything around me, but also how I feel, what I think about things, it's made the biggest difference, because that's when you have the realization, even if it's just like an hour, to just really think deeply and have the right questions asked of you, it makes all the difference. It's really easy to go, I'm too busy, I just have to go, like, keep on moving forward. But it's a truth that feels truer the longer that I'm in business, and it was such a great piece of advice. Thank you, Vic.
Thanks, Vic. So the question I have for that is, can you self-facilitate that, or is it something you need to do with someone else?
It's really hard. You have to have such a massive amount of self-discipline to, I think, take the time out. Realistically, I don't think it's achievable in your same environment that you're in, day out, because your brain just slips into these slipstreams, don't they? Just whatever is easy. So at the very least, I think take time out. If you can work with somebody else or get support from somebody who does this professional to facilitate it, it makes it easier.
Well, it's kind of reminding me of like team away days.
Yeah.
You know, you go to like a fancy hotel, and have nice fancy cups of tea all day.
Yeah.
And like,
it can be done in Chamonix. Like, that's totally possible.
So we're going to have our team away day. Yes. Heard it here first. We're doing it. Chamonix aside, and all the loveliness of business, especially when you're self-employed, it's the way to be. What would you say has been your biggest frustration?
I think that particularly marketing in the industry, I've been very frustrated with how far away from the consumer we've become. All this new technology that's come out, AI in the past year or so, before that, different platforms, they are a distraction that is moving us further and further away from understanding the consumer. And I get so frustrated with it, because that's who we want to buy the stuff. That's who we want to find value from it. They almost seem to be the last thing that's thought about. So if you think about the last 10 sort of marketing messages you've seen around marketing, they're often, how to smash LinkedIn in 2026, or, the post that you need to do, or why you need to do video, rather than getting to understand the audience. The other thing that really frustrates me is, and this goes back to your mention about traditional marketing. So there's the traditional marketing that's like the more tactile stuff, but there's also going back to these principles of marketing. The 4 Ps or the 7 Ps, if you're doing a service-based business, but they are product, price, place, and promotion. That's the first 4. We won't worry about the other 3 with service. But promotion is often the one that people think about. And if you don't let a marketer anywhere near your product to make sure it's good quality, or product or service, then what you end up with is putting lipstick on a pig when you get to the promotion bit, right? You're like, stick a hashtag on that and try and promote that. Well, could you have involved me in making sure the product and the service is something that the consumer wants to buy in the first place, at a price point that they actually are willing to pay, in a place where they've got any chance of getting it, and then, I'll promote it. But that's the biggest frustration I see with marketing, is it's getting further and further away from these fundamentals, and technology just feels like a huge distraction.
Why is it getting further away? What's the reason?
I think it serves the people who are selling the technology. I think it's something with the industry. I suspect it's something with the industry. Something that can happen is that, say somebody decides, right, well, we need SEO this year. It's a little bit like doing Dr. Google, turning up to the doctor and going, well, I've Googled my symptoms, I'm pretty sure this is what I've got. I see that quite a lot, and it's quite difficult for a marketing company or agency or professional who has bills to pay and all the rest of it. When somebody comes to them and say, I've decided SEO is my thing, and you sell SEO, to turn around and say, well, hang on a second, let's have a big old deep think about what it is.
Yeah, a client decides they want something, they want it now because they heard someone write it in a LinkedIn post and they think, right, that's what we need to do. But actually everything in marketing is part of an ecosystem, isn't it?
Yeah, and because of these increases in complexity and technology, you end up really needing specialists. Like, agencies are getting more and more difficult to really effectively achieve, because there are so many disciplines. Like, when I joined Ideal 10 years ago, I was the digital marketing department. I did the websites, I did social media, I did email, and I could do ads. Now you need a specialist for just meta ads, in order to do it properly.
That's so true. That's so true. And being a multidisciplinary marketeer is really challenging, because you've got to wear multiple hats and there's so many component parts to each specific thing.
Yeah.
You're so right. I've never even thought about that.
But this has changed under our feet. Like, we've not really even noticed it happening, these levels of complexity. So that's, I think, why the marketing agency business model has felt a bit off for me for a while. You end up with these different departments that constantly need different work coming in. So I think, unfortunately, it creates quite a bad experience for people who go to a marketer, marketing agencies, whatever, because it's very difficult to achieve what they really want to, unless somebody pushes back and goes, hang on a second, I know you're willing to give me your money right now.
What's the overall goal? Who are we talking to?
Yeah, let's go back
to the basics. Yeah, that's made me think quite a lot of things, actually, that has, because that's so accurate of what's going on. And it just strikes me as like this total disorientation that happens with tech anyway, that we're purposely always being blindly advertised to, distracted constantly. Yeah. Like, technology is a curse.
Yeah, I mean, it's overstimulating, isn't it? And I was listening to a podcast yesterday about the dopamine. It's almost like a seesaw. And what can happen is that we push down on dopamine, which is this feel-good chemical in the brain we often get from shopping or scrolling on Instagram or whatever. And then our brain tries to even things out. And you end up in this weird seesaw constantly that, like you say, it happens with shopping and things like that. So we've got a finite amount of attention. And
Yeah.
I think it's also coming back to what you were saying earlier about, we've all got access to AI. Well, and the technology and everything else. If you don't start to say something that is truly different, then you're not going to get any attention from customers. So,
Well, big issues to deal with here. Big issues. Okay, so what would be the one thing that you're taking out of this year that you are going to make a big change for 2026 for you personally?
be more me, I think.
Love that.
This year I've had an opportunity to really learn a lot more about what I really love doing, that I'm uniquely good at, and I want to do more of that and less of the stuff that...
What is that uniquely good stuff? Come on.
I think thinking. Weird.
Thinking.
I love thinking about thinking, but actually generating ideas.
Yeah.
And sharing ideas. I feel really lucky that I can take in the ideas and work with them. So yeah, I think everybody should just be more them and give themselves permission to learn out. What is it? Dolly Parton, I think, said something along the lines of, learn who you are and be that on purpose, something like that.
She didn't say that. She
What
said,
did she say?
learn who you are and be that on purpose.
There we go.
You can't do a Dolly impression without Dolly.
I thought
It was really bad. That was a Prosecco Dolly Parton impression. Sorry. Okay. So, with this in mind, then the final thing we'll ask you, thinking about thinking, being more you, what's the tip? How do people do that?
Pay attention to how you feel when you're going through your day. What I normally do is I mark out of 10 on. I've got my little diary in front of me. I mark out of 10 how I felt when I did something, and it's weird how quickly you realise that there's loads of stuff in your day that you might love that you didn't realise you did, or vice versa.
Such a great idea.
It's just a self-awareness thing. You don't have to do it forever. Just do it a week in a month or something like that.
Or if you have to make, it's weird that you said that, because I say to people, if they've got to make a decision about if they feel like they want to leave a job, for example, I say, okay, give it a month, and every day do a smiley face, a sad face, or an indifferent face for every day that you worked, and then look back over the calendar and how many faces did you have of what sort?
Yeah.
Because it will help you make your decision, because we're so unreliable, aren't we?
Yeah. When we think about something, our perception or our self-awareness can be horrendous. So, grade yourself.
All about the mood. Well, thank you, darling, for joining me today. I've really enjoyed our little chit-chat. I just could listen to you talk all day. The facts, every time you open your mouth, I want to get a notebook out.
Stats. I should do Jess's daily stat.
Oh my God. Yes, you should.
Jess facts.
The machines didn't even think of that. That came from human brain.
Yes. Yeah.
Well done. Well, thank you very much, darling.
Thank you.